We've had several discussions back and forth about leadership. I want to start off with just kind of the basics. How do you define leadership and what is a leader?
Great question. I mean, leadership can be defined in so many different ways. I believe it's the way to inspire and motivate others to get them to coalesce around a certain goal that they otherwise wouldn't be able to without your presence, right? Getting them around and to accomplish, not only coalesce around the idea, but also accomplish something due to your presence and who you are, to inspire, to lead, to educate, all those things. Leadership defined, by the way, because we study it here, has so many different methodologies and so many different philosophies to it that the more I learn about it, the less I know. It really is one of those things that you really have to work on. If anything, Bill, I would say leadership's a skill. It's a skill that you have to work on. It's a skill you're not going to get right. In fact, if you're trying to get it right like all the time, you're going to fall down a lot. Leadership is often lonely, and it's one of those things that if you embrace it and you do it really well, the benefits to good leadership, the benefits, your personal benefits to working on your personal leadership and becoming a good leader are so tremendous as you go through this journey of life. To look back and see that not only did you inspire people to do things that they couldn't have done, that you were part of their growth, and you look back, and I think the real pinnacle for me is to see other people that I had the honor and privilege to lead that are now leading others, and they're almost modeling, or they're doing things that are even better than I did for them. That's so fun to look back on. So a kind of a long answer to that question. I think we could probably spend an entire hour talking about
Absolutely.
the definition of leadership. But it's hard. That's the last thing I'll leave with. Leadership is hard. Leadership is tough, and it's one of the great things that we get to do at Team Performance Institute is help people try to be better leaders every day. A very tactical way of going about development.
No, you're right. We could, John, talk about this for hours because it is a skill. And as you and I both know, is our early career, you start off one way and now you become a different person, really, because you've refined skills, learned new skills, mastered some other skills, maybe even communication, different ways possible, environments and teams and all those things. And speaking of that, I know that Team Performance Institute helps people win because they have a goal, and their goal might be a big goal. How do you define winning?
Well, you have to define winning every day. Like, that's the thing. That's fun. Defining winning, you think about life overall, it's way too big. It's way too encompassing. If you look at a good life, you can look into and read all of the autobiographies or biographies of all the great leaders and all the great people in the world, and you'll say like, whoa, that's like unattainable. It feels so large, so big. But if you realize that all of them had this massive journey that they went on, and if you chunk it down and break it down into year by year, or maybe even decade by decade initially, and then break it down into what it looks like. When we work with teams and individuals, first, I think it's a great question. The first thing I ask them to do is really define winning. What does winning look like for your organization, for your team, maybe for your family, just over the next, make it a bit short term, like the next month, when, we went through, 5 years ago, went through COVID, sitting around the kitchen table. It's like, whoa, this is a whole different world and what this looks like. And as a family, we decided to define what winning would look like for us over the next week or two as COVID first hit. This goes for, by the way, any team, organization, family relationship that has any changes that they're going through. Sat down and said, hey, what does it look like? What does winning look like? How do we support each other in our own winning over the next 2 to 3 weeks? And how do we set ourselves up for success? And it became very tactical, very simple. Well, we need to have certain areas in the house that are going to be more reasonably quiet. We have certain areas we called coffee talk areas. We started to develop these little pods, these little things to help us all feel like we're working together around a bigger goal. Every kid had their own level of education that they had to follow on. Oh my gosh, go back to COVID. It's like awful if you think about like all these online courses and what they had to do. And then we had to figure out how we're going to build each individual life in this now family unit that we're all living under the same roof, trying to, my wife's job, my job, each kid's jobs, if you will. And then how do we keep the family unit running, simpatico? So it was really wild, but defining winning was our start to that. And if you define it and you break it down, day in and day out. I like to define winning almost every day. I look at my schedule. It's way too full. So all you executives out there with here's the good news. You're going to die with a full inbox. You're going to die with a task list that's huge because you're doing life right. Right? So take that task list or that inbox and break it down and say, here's what winning looks like. And I will put on my schedule, if I accomplish these, if I look at my huge list, if I accomplish these three things, I put W's next to them. That's what winning looks like. And I look at my day, and as many of our days go, it doesn't go as planned. It's going to go all over the place. I get to do really cool things with great people. And I tend to spend more time on things that I don't necessarily, maybe I shouldn't, but then I draw back and go, okay, what's winning? I look at those tactical things. You do that day in and day out, your week looks really great, your month looks really great, your quarter looks great, and then soon enough you just have this, continuous success pattern that builds year over year for you. That's how I
Yeah,
that's how I
that's so
define.
true.
That's how I break it down in terms of defining winning. I think it's a much bigger conversation.
I love it because win the day is one of the things that I have coined for myself. You explained it perfectly. I remember the day when you and I were walking in Germany together, and you said, I had this idea, and it's the company about coaching and training and performance. You remember that? It was,
I remember that day so well. We were walking out of Marienplatz and we were walking back to the hotel and just having a great time and a great talk. And you've always been a great mentor to me, helped me kind of see the future. You're a visionary. It was just great as a president to have that sense of vision, like you could do this, and this is this is what you're going to need. But I remember that talk very
you're
well,
too
and
gracious, my
here we
friend.
are, and here I am, 10 years into my own business, and
It
couldn't do
is
it without
amazing.
people like you, friends like you. You were the very first person to hire me to come speak. It was because another one of my teammates here at Team Performance Institute didn't have the ability to come do that speech. Chris Haggerty couldn't make it.
I remember that. I remember, and never look back, my friend. You not only are an unbelievable person, but obviously CEO of a company. And I wanted to get to that point. What is the mission behind Team Performance Institute? Many people, they hear it, they say, what does this mean? What does that mean? They hear about you being a leadership guru and you're a SEAL. There's
Yeah,
certain stereotypes that go through people's heads.
yeah.
But what does it mean?
I honestly don't really like any of those stereotypes. Kind of flush them out. It's
Yeah.
fun. It's really, really fun to be me because yes, I do have a Navy SEAL background and I have all the stuff that I got to do. I was blessed and honored to do for our military a long time ago. But in reality, it's a more holistic piece to me. I feel really lucky to have done everything I did, Navy, and then I went into finance, as you know. So,
Mhm.
a lot of your agents that there, I really can, empathize and understand building a business and working super hard to connect
Yeah.
really well with my clients, And so I did that for, 16 years. And then I got into this. It's just been, an amazing progress. It's been an amazing journey. I think about, when you think about what where it started to where I am now, I don't typically like to gather around all of the stereotypes, but more think about just trying to be the best person that I possibly can every day, understanding that that's a journey that I'm going to make mistakes. My personal purpose and mission is to help others get to the next level, no matter who they are, whether they're a homeless veteran or a CEO. I feel like the training that I've had, some of the experiences that I had, and training as an executive coach and now running a leadership institute to help them just kind of have a space to get better, to see and to work at themselves. The goal of TPI is to provide a positive impact to the world, a real positive impact by teaching the soft skill development that will impact not only the people that we're teaching, but all of them underneath. That I feel like I set out this mission in life to have a positive impact, and I decided to go into leadership training because I think leaders can really affect many, many, many people.
Yeah.
And our goal is collectively now is to help people get to the next level. And we love to meet clients exactly where they are. It's a holistic approach to life. It's a holistic approach to every client that we get to be with.